Hello, grade 8. Today we will complete our chapter 21, the periodic table. We will take today section 2, grouping the elements. Let's start. In this section, we will learn why elements in a group often have similar properties, and we will describe the properties of the elements in the groups of the periodic table. We will speak about each group of the periodic table, and we will speak about the properties of each group. We will start with group 1, alkali metals. Alkali metals, they are group 1. They share some physicochemical properties like lithium, sodium, potassium, rhodium, cesium, francium. As we said before in the last section, that when we write the symbol of the element, sometimes we write it one letter and sometimes two letters. In this case, lithium, Li, we write the first letter capitalized and the second letter lowercase. Up here we write the atomic number, and down here we write the name, and down sometimes we write the atomic mass down, but here no, it's not here. Let's speak about the properties of alkali metal. Alkali metals are elements in group 1 of the periodic table. Alkali metal properties such as they all are metals. They have all of them, they have one electron in the outer level. As we mentioned before, that when we distribute electrons in the energy level should follow the octet rule. What means octet rule? It means that the outer shell should have 8 electrons or 0 electrons. So in this alkali metals, it's easy for them to lose 1 electron instead of gaining 7 electrons to have the octet rule. And this is why they are very reactive. So if I ask you why alkali metals are very reactive, the most reactive metals are alkali metals. Why? Because they have 1 electron in the outer level and they can easily give away this electron. They all share the softness, color of silver, shiny, and they all have low density. So why they share all of them these properties? Because all of them have 1 electron in the outer energy level. Properties of alkali metals. Here we have the sodium. Alkali metals are soft enough to be cut with a knife. They are soft, they are like Play-Doh. You can cut them by a knife. They are very reactive with water, and when they react with water, they release hydrogen gas, as we see here in the figure. Compounds of alkali metals such as sodium chloride. All of us, we have sodium chloride in our homes. Sodium chloride is a table salt. We use it to flavor food, for seasoning food. Potassium bromide, also they use it in photography. Here, how sodium reacts with water. As we see here, they are very reactive. They release hydrogen gas and they give light and heat and sound also. Now we will move to group 2. Group 2 are called alkaline earth metals. All of them, they are alkaline earth metals. Here, alkaline earth metals are elements in group 2. Alkaline earth metal properties such as they are metals, 2 electrons in the outer level. All of them here, they have 2 electrons in the outer level. Do you remember alkali metal? They have only 1 electron. But alkaline earth metals, they have 2 electrons in the outer energy level. So which one is easier, to lose 1 electron or to lose 2 electrons? The answer is, of course, to lose 1 electron. And that's why alkali earth metals very reactive but less reactive than alkali metals. Color of silver, they have higher densities than alkali metals. So now we will move to the third group, transition metals. Extend from group 3 till group 12. All of them, we call them transition metals, including gold, silver, mercury, titanium, nickel, iron, manganese, chromium. Transition metals are in group 3 to 12. Some of the transition metals are shown below. Transition metals, properties of transition metals, they vary widely but include groups contain metals, all of them metals. one or two electrons in the outer level, less reactive than alkaline earth metal. So the most reactive alkali metal, then alkaline earth metal, then transition metal. Shiny, good conductors of electric current and thermal energy. They conduct electricity and heat. Properties of transition metal, like here we have the mercury. Mercury is the only liquid metal in the periodic table in the transition metal, the only liquid metal. They use it in thermometers, as we see here. Unlike the other transition metals, mercury is liquid at room temperature. So, and here also, not all the transition metal, they have silver color. Gold has golden color. This gold ring proves it. Also, they have different reactivity. Like here, this made of titanium, this made of iron. Titanium is not reactive such as iron. Iron is very reactive, and that's why it reacts with oxygen and rust easily. So now we will move to the two groups of transition metal, but they are located under the periodic table: lanthanides and actinides, period 6 and 7. Lanthanides and actinides, some transition metal from periods 6 and 7, appear in two rows at the bottom of the periodic table. Elements in the first row called lanthanides, and elements in the period 7 we call them actinides. We put them under the periodic table so they don't make the periodic table so wide. Properties of lanthanides: they all are shiny, reactive, and some are used to make steel. We use them in computers to give this red color. This from element called europium that coats the back of the screen. Properties of actinides: all are radioactive or unstable. The atoms of elements of actinides, they can easily break apart, and that's mean radioactive. Most of them do not occur in nature. For most of them, they are made in science lab by scientists. Are used in smoke detectors. Boron group, group 13. This boron group, we call it boron group because it starts with a boron element from group 13. The properties of this boron group: they have one metalloid. Boron is one metalloid, and how many metals? 5 metals. 3 electrons in the outer level. All of them, they share the same number of electrons in the outer shell. They have 3 electrons in the outer shell. They lose also the 3 electrons in the outer shell to be stable and to follow the octet rule. They reactive, but not reactive like alkaline metal or alkaline earth metal or transition metal. They are less reactive than them all. They are solids at room temperature. All of them are solid in room temperature. Right, now we will move to group 14, carbon group. Also, why we call it carbon group? Because the first element in this group is carbon. Group 14 properties: group contains 1 nonmetal, 2 metalloids, and 2 metals. So this group has from all the classification of elements. The first one, the carbon, is nonmetal. 2 here, silicon and germanium, they are metalloids. And this left, the 3 down here, they are metals. They have 4 electrons in the outer level. Reactivity varies among the elements. They have different reactivity. They all are solid at room temperature. Like who? Like carbon, silicon, germanium, tin, lead. Group 15, nitrogen group. In group 15, as we will call it nitrogen group because it starts with nitrogen element. In this group also we have 2 nonmetal, 2 metalloids, and 2 metals. Group 15 properties: Group contain 2 nonmetals, as we said, 2 metalloids and 2 metals. They all have 5 electrons in the outer level. So in this case, they don't lose 5 electrons, they gain 3 electrons. Reactivity also varies among the elements. They are all solid at room temperature except for nitrogen here, which is gas. And we wrote the symbol with green, means gas. So the symbol color blue for liquid, green for gas, and red for solid. Group 16, oxygen group. Also we call it oxygen group because it starts with oxygen element. Group 16 properties. Group contained 3 nonmetals, 1 metalloid and 1 metal, like here 3, the 3 yellow elements, they are nonmetal, and 1 metalloid and 1 metal. They have 6 electrons in the outer level. They are reactive. They also gain 2 electrons. They are solid at room temperature except for oxygen is gas. Halogen are the elements in group 17. Halogens, they are very reactive nonmetals. They all are nonmetals. They have 7 electrons in the outer level. And as we said, they need to make them 8. So halogens have to gain 1 electron to follow the octet rule. And that's why they are very reactive elements. Poor conductors of electric current. Also, like alkali metals, if you remember, they are all the time found in compounds in nature. Noble gas, the last group in the periodic table, group 18, noble gases. Noble gases are the elements in group 18. They all are nonmetal. They have 8 electrons in the outer level except helium, which has only 2. But all of them, they are stable. They don't have to gain or lose any electron. And that's why we call them unreactive. Colorless, odorless gases as room temperature. They don't have color, they don't have smell, and they are gases at room temperature. And they have very low density. Hydrogen, and this is we put in one group, hydrogen. The properties of hydrogen do not match the properties of any single group. So hydrogen is set apart. We put the hydrogen alone because it has different properties from other elements. It's a nonmetal. It has 1 electron in the outer level. Hydrogen atom has only 1 electron. Reactive and colorless, odorless gas at room temperature, and it has very low density. This was everything for today. The periodic table. Let's solve this together. Concept mapping. Here we have to put elements, periods, metals, electrons, nonmetals, periodic table, families. So in the first one here will be periodic table is a chart made of elements. We arranged them by rows called periods. The rows called what? Periods. Columns are called families. In periods in which the number of electrons increases from left to right. There are that are classified as, we classify elements to 3 groups: metals, metalloids, and non-metals. This was everything for this chapter, chapter 21, the periodic table, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.